What's up guys gang, I'm back again with another devlog for my still unnamed game. But today I want to change that. Last devlog I asked you for name ideas. If you have a better idea, let me know in the comments. And you guys delivered. 63 different name ideas were suggested, and most of them were actually funny and a good name. But there were also some weird ones. For example, Witherhead. I mean, what the fuck dude, don't be so rude to Skelly, he doesn't look anything like that freak. Shelly's a Massacre? That's not even his name. Last one is Deadeye, because he's dead and you know shoots guns. That second part could even be a subtitle if you wanted to go a bit meta. Yeah sure, because I want the player to spend 2 minutes typing the name of the game into the Steam search bar to give me money. I mean right game. No, of course I really appreciate all your comments. I'm really surprised how many people saw my first devlog. In the grand scheme of things, 5k views is nothing, but it means a lot to me, so thank you. Alright, enough of being nice, let's get back to being a dickhead. If this channel was built upon democratic values, Skelly would win and become the name of this game, because many people seem to think it's the most fitting name. However, this is my channel, so I have the final say, and I say, let's battle it out. Okay, so this is how the battle is gonna work. I'm just gonna spawn 63 enemies that all have a name assigned to them. Since I'm too lazy to change the entire AI script so that the enemies fight each other, I'm just gonna kill them myself with a rocket launcher and minigun. The last surviving enemy's assigned name will become the name of the game. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go! And the winner is... Skelly gun! Okay, how about we just drop the gun part and just call it Skelly? I think that sounds a lot better and is easier to remember. I hope that's okay for you, Tuma. I mean, at least you influenced the final decision a bit. Now that the name has been chosen, it's finally time for something you all have been waiting for. I'm dropping brand new Skelly merch. Yeah, look at this. That looks awesome. I've been working really hard with shitty shirts to bring you guys the best quality clothes for the cheapest price. For example, my favorite is this Skelly shirt for only 50 bucks. I mean, that's as good as it gets. If you're interested, check out the shop and get yourself your next favorite piece of clothing. So what have I been working on since the last devlog? Quite a bit actually. First off, something I forgot to mention last episode, the camera movement. I played Enter the Gungeon the first time a few months ago and realized the camera feels much better than in Skelly. And it's because the camera in Enter the Gungeon actually follows not only the player but also the mouse cursor, so you can look ahead to where you are aiming at. With that, the player can focus on what's in front of him. It also just feels like you have more control over what you're doing. Something equally important to camera movement I added is a rocket launcher, and with that, explosions. It actually works quite simple. The launcher itself works just like a normal gun. That spawns rockets which travel on their own, and when they come in contact with anything, they explode and for a short amount of time activate an area which knocks back every enemy and also the player. Yeah, the explosion looks a bit weird and poorly drawn, which it is, but have you ever tried to animate an explosion, or even worse, fire? That shit is hard. It always looks like a toddler's first drawing when I try it. Whatever, it'll work for now. Also something I wasn't satisfied with were the bullets. They look fine, but there's nothing special about them. Luckily, while I was surfing on the web, a game called Archwell caught my attention because the visuals are awesome, and also because I saw another opportunity to steal someone's hard work and disguise it as my own. This time I was gonna steal the bullets. Just compare Archwell's bullets to my own. Archwell's bullets look far more interesting, far more colorful. That's the look I'm going for with my bullets, more colorful and more variety. Taking inspiration from these bullets, I first created this small new area for testing purposes, and after that I changed the bullets to this. What do you think? Do you like the new bullets more than the old ones? Of course I will create many more variations with different shapes, colors and travel paths. The next big thing I added was a bullet spawner system, so that the enemies can shoot bullets in a rotating pattern. It's also just easier to spawn multiple bullets at once with that, which was not really possible beforehand. Enemies can now have really different attack patterns, and that is just absolutely necessary for making combat more interesting. Let me show you an example. This is a new enemy I created. It looks a bit like a nightmare version of Squidward. It has 2 attacks, one for when the player is nearby and one that triggers when the player is further away. The attack for further away is just one simple bullet shot at high speed directed at a player, so it can snipe him from a distance. The nearby attack is like an explosion, because the enemy just shoots bullets everywhere, which makes it a really difficult attack to dodge when nearby. My plan is that simple enemies that you can find everywhere only have 2 attacks. That's because if I really want to finish this game in this decade, I need to save time somewhere. These time saves include shitty animations. Like I said, the enemies only have 2 different attacks, bosses have of course more, and generally just moving on to another part of the game even if I'm not completely happy with the results yet. I think it's important to set yourself deadlines that you have to meet. Otherwise you will just iterate over and over and over again on a specific part of a game, which just brings development down to a halt. Okay, last thing I added were charged guns. In the game, when the player has a charged gun equipped, he can charge it with holding down the left mouse button, and when he releases it, the gun fires. To make it worth it charging your gun, the weapon gets more damage and the bullet moves faster the more you charge it. Of course there's a limit to how long the stats of the gun increases. Otherwise the player would be able to just stand in the corner for half an hour and just one-shot every boss. Which can be funny, but it's also game breaking. Well, that's already the end of this devlog. Do you like where the game is headed? Is there something you don't like? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you in the next video.